Okay, we're ready to move on. We're ready to move into the fundamentals of logo design, understanding the basics of logo design. And I'm going to try and answer a question that you may have on your mind. Do you have to be artistic? Can only artists design really fantastic logos? The answer to that is no, but you do have to be a creative problem solver. Let's dig further into this and unpack the whole thing. First of all, the word artist and the word designer are oftentimes used synonymously. They kind of get tossed around loosely in conversation. However, these two words don't mean the same thing at all, as a matter of fact. An artist is someone who has their own creative vision. I was going to say they follow their own creative vision. They have an idea in their head or something that they want to express, and then they put that idea, that thing that they want to express down on paper or onto a canvas or into a sculpture or any other art form. Okay? Artists really are working to fulfill their own personal creative vision. Okay? Artists are not graphic designers or logo designers. However, many artists make use of the techniques and fundamentals of graphic design in their own work. Things like visual communication, composition, controlling eye movement and focus, and so on. Just look at some great art, either some contemporary art or art through history. Head into any art gallery and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, so that's really what an artist is all about. A graphic designer, on the other hand, if I had to summarize, hey, what's a graphic designer? If I had to define what a graphic designer is, I'd say a graphic designer is a problem solver. Now, you might be going, but it's supposed to be creative and it's supposed to be kind of artsy. And well, yeah, but it's solving specific problems that arise in marketing or in branding or in, of course, logo design, right? Let's dig a little deeper here. What a graphic designer is going to do is they're going to take the goal of a particular project. Now, a project like a logo design, or it could be creating a branding package or perhaps building a website, something like that, and bring the project from a rough concept all the way through to final completion, solving the problem efficiently. Graphic designers are not artists, although many graphic designers are artists in their spare time, or they have a background in the visual arts. So, in other words, many people with a background in the visual arts are naturally drawn to the field of graphic design. So, I suppose what I'm trying to say here is that the field of graphic design is often filled with artists, but rather than pursuing their own personal vision or personal interests, graphic design is related to marketing and advertising and branding and so on. So graphic designers must brainstorm efficient ways to solve particular problems and then create and present a variety of solutions to the client and then have the technical skill to actually construct or build those solutions. So, of course, I'm talking about technical skills like Illustrator skills or Photoshop skills and so on. Okay? A graphic designer often has a blend of a variety of skills, including marketing, problem solving, creativity, visual communication, and of course, as I just mentioned here, the software skills. Could be, in our world at least, logo design, again, Illustrator, perhaps a touch of Photoshop, or in the greater world of graphic design, it could involve, WordPress, web design skills, coding things like HTML and maybe even PHP and things like this. So a graphic designer has this sort of this stack of skills that they can pull from. All right. What else do we have here? Well, graphic designers are always dealing with practicality and function. Now that's interesting. Think about that for a second. Practicality and function. An artist doesn't have to consider how practical or functional a piece of art is. After all, art is expression, right? So consider the difference. This is an analogy that I came up with. Consider the difference between a sculptor and an architect. A building could look amazing, it could look beautiful, but if it serves absolutely no purpose, if it does not fill any particular function, then it's a failure, right? The same holds true with a website or perhaps a brochure or a marketing layout or, of course, a logo, right? All right, the misconception here is that great design, great graphic design, and of course, great logo design is eye catching and flashy. So I came up with another metaphor to try and communicate this across to you. I want you to think of some of your favorite movies that really made an impact on you, a deep emotional impact. I love movies, of course. It's a form of escapism where you're taken off into another world. Now, consider the latest summer blockbuster loaded with stunning visual effects and thrilling action. Most of these summer blockbusters don't have much in terms of a story or even a meaning. They just don't really mean much. So consider this. Have you ever heard of a movie called The Man from Earth? If you want a real brain twister, check it out. It has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 85%, and just for your own personal interest, its budget was just $200,000. And the entire movie is composed basically of dialogue. It's a group of people essentially sitting in a room for the majority of the movie, and it's amazing. If you like sort of Twilight Zone or those old episodes of Star Trek where it's a real brain twister, you'll love it. And it's a fantastic movie, a very, very different kind of movie. Compare something like this to 2009's Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. I didn't see it. I didn't need to see it. I already know exactly what I would be in for if I went and checked out this movie. It has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of just 19%. I'm sure it looks stunning. I'm sure it looks amazing. I'm sure anyone under 12 loves it. That's great. Budget, just for your own interest here, not the 200,000 that The Man from Earth had. How about 200 million for this movie? Unbelievable. So the best movies, at least in my mind, combine both a great story, a great original story, and great use of visuals to enhance the story. Here's some examples for you. Requiem for a Dream, amazing movie. Or Children of Men, incredible. This is what I'm talking about. So great fundamental storytelling with great visuals. So combining the two. So the point here is simplicity and sticking to the fundamental guidelines of design, of logo design. And we've already started to talk about this a little bit. We don't want to rely on flash, okay? So many clients who hire designers to design their logo for them or design some branding for them want something flashy, something that will attract a lot of attention. And sometimes clients need to be reminded, what's the goal of your project? Do you want to look like a disco? Or do you want to solve your problem, right? So sometimes we have to help them out a little bit here. The most successful designs efficiently handle the problem they were created to resolve without drawing unnecessary attention to the design and the special effects. Again, think back to some of those great movies. The visuals are so fantastic that you don't even notice them because the story is so good, right? Again, the visuals are there to support the story. Exactly the same concept here in logo design, okay? Everything on top of the function of solving the problem, I'm talking about crazy fonts, imagery, special effects, drop shadows, bevels, embosses, all that stuff is just icing on top, okay? Special effects, Photoshop filters, crazy colors and fonts and so on are not the design by themselves. If you think they are, you may enjoy Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Anyway, on a fundamental level, good design functions very well and also looks pleasing. Or perhaps said better, it doesn't look displeasing. And again, we've touched on this already with the requirements for successful logo design. Great logos don't look terrible, They are visually pleasing. They may not be very interesting, but they solve the problem on that fundamental level, right? So it doesn't have to look amazing. It just has to not look terrible, if that makes sense. So form is always going to follow function. All right. So there we go. I hope this has been a lot of food for thought for you. Now let's move on and dig deeper into logo design.